I am now calling to order a regular meeting of City Council Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 at 7:02 PM. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Councilwoman Rogan-C.
Here.
Councilwoman McGee.
Here.
Councilman Dwyer.
Here.
Councilman Boyke.
Here.
Councilman Lafferty.
Here.
Councilman Noonan.
Present.
Councilwoman Moore is present. We have a quorum.
Next item.
Yeah. Next item is adoption of the agenda, so moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty. Consent agenda.
Right, what did I say?
Agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, consent agenda.
Item 4.
Yeah.
So, 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay.
Discussion.
So, yes. So what is item 4 on consent? Says that it was tabled, but it has already been removed. So that should not be on there. And to clarify, for J, that number of 100 has been modified, and that will be $150 for the sale of the property.
Madam Secretary,
Yes.
you said item 4, which item 4A
A was already approved.
already approved?
Any other discussion? All set, Mr. Lafferty?
Yes, ma'am.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Madam Chair, a slight modification. Ms. Michaels just informed me that it's an additional 150, so it's 250 altogether. Thank you for that 4J item.
Thank you.
Next item is adoption of the agenda, so moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty with discussion.
Discussion, Ms. Moore and then Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Adding as item 12E from Councilman Lafferty and Councilwoman Moore regarding library naming, as item 13F, the appointment of Anthony Conigliaro. As item, let's see, as item 12G, or 12F, that will be, Mary, would you say the first case?
Yeah, we have Jerome Quinney et al. Versus Auto Club Insurance Association.
Okay. So that'll be 12F. 12G,
Is Harding versus City of Warren.
okay. And then 12H,
Is Sandra Ford.
okay. All right, I'll have those up by then.
And Madam Secretary, 13F was an appointment, correct?
Yes.
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. I'd like to add under council business a request to sanitation, or sanitation request for information.
Okay.
What was the number?
12I.
Thank you.
Madam President, when John's done.
Anything further, Mr. Lafferty?
That is all.
Mr. Noonan?
Yeah, I'd like, under council business, getting the pets inside when the weather's really cold.
Do you want that under announcements?
Yeah, under announcements.
You can just add that.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 6, calendar pending matters. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 7A, approval of the bills of the general revenue funds. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is approval of the bills of the water and sewer systems. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience participation, agenda items only.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening related to items on the agenda may do so by filling out an audience form on the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. Mr. Watts is up first.
Well, good evening. I wanted to just mention one thing here on the agenda. You know me, when it comes to appointments, I do my due diligence, even though I'm not sitting up there with you guys. And item 13E, reappointment of the Library Commission, Natalie, I can't say the last name. I would take a good hard look at that. I did some research on this. Unfortunately, the mayor doesn't like to be transparent with anything that she sends over to go in the packet, and everything's redacted. But I did some searching on it, and I'm not sure where the problem is, but I find one address in Madison Heights, and I find that that person is listed on voter rolls for Warren and for Madison Heights. So before you make an appointment, you might want to take a good hard look at what's going on. I don't know if it's a voter roll problem. You know, I don't know. I don't even know if she lives in Warren. I can't tell because it just nothing comes up in BSNA. So I really have my concerns. So, and just a reminder, when she first got on, I was at the Library Commission. I think it was her second meeting. She tried to stop the new library too down in David area. So deserves a good look. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Watts. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Next item is 9A, Plant Moran audit presentation.
Thank you very much for having us. If I could get the slides up, I would appreciate it. My name is Josh Eady, principal with Plant Moran. With me is Daniela Suvak, who's the senior on the engagement. And today in front of you, you should have several deliverables. First of all, you have the ACFR, that is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. That's the biggest stack of papers in front of you. Then there are 2 letters to the mayor and members of City Council. And lastly, the graphs. I will be covering the graphs that's going to cover basically the deliverables that you have in front of you. We've covered all these reports in high detail with management, and so really going to be covering at a high-level summary and then address any questions that you may have. First of all, I want to thank the entire finance team. This couldn't be done without them. There's a lot of work that goes into this outside of their regular, normal, real jobs. And as you can see by the stack of materials in front of you, this is quite an effort to put together, so definitely thank them, and they did a great job helping us put this all together. Before we go through the graph presentation, I do want to cover a few audit matters. First of all, I always want to point out that the city continues to prepare an annual comprehensive financial report. This is above and beyond what is required by the state, and for the 20th year, the city will receive the Certificate for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. This award really shows the city's commitment to transparency and quality financial reporting. Our main deliverable to you is within that document. That's on page 1 of the ACFR, and that is the unmodified opinion. And basically what that means is that the statements are in compliance with all the rules and regulations, and that you can rely on the numbers within them. Although the city received an unmodified opinion, we did have 2 internal control matters. I will be covering those here shortly, but wanted to add a little context before I get to those. So the city did implement a new ERP system this year, and that was a very challenging endeavor. So that delayed the city's normal year-end closing process, which consequently delayed the audit. So although the audit was completed and filed on time, this did cause a few difficulties. The other item I want to point out is that the single audit that you might be used to seeing in previous years is not in front of you tonight. That is technically due on March 31st, so that one is not late. We will be issuing that actually very shortly, so we have just finished work on that, and we'll be issuing that. We anticipate issuing an unmodified opinion on that report as well, with no findings on the federal programs associated with that. So in the graphs, I covered the opinion. If we move on to the findings slide. So similar to prior year, there were certain entries that we identified in order to bring the financial statements into compliance with GAAP. And audit standards require us to report that whenever we identify entries, we have to include those in a finding. The cumulative effect of these entries was material, and so those were incorporated. But as I mentioned before, that ERP implementation did take some significant time from the team. The next finding on the next slide here is a significant deficiency. And this item relates to the implementation of a new standard. So the city this year implemented what's called GASB 101, which relates to compensated absences. And in order to properly implement that standard, the city has to estimate what portion of vacation, sick time, things like that will be used versus what portion will be paid out versus what portion will be forfeited. And the city was unable to provide historical records to support that estimate. They were able to get to a materially correct answer, which is why we still have the unmodified opinion, but wanted to point out that the city will want to start accumulating those records in order to be able to support a more precise answer moving forward. The next slide then gets into the financial statements and the results there. So this slide shows revenues of the general fund over the last 4 years. And you can see revenue increased 17.8% in the current year to $156,923,000, largely due to a few lines. First, if you look at that first line, property tax revenues increased $8.9 million, which increased largely due to property tax values as they continue to increase. On the fourth line, fines and fees also increased, mostly due to fines and fees from the district court, increasing $1.9 million from 2024. And then finally, on the second line from the bottom, grant revenues increased due to the use of ARPA funds. Now, I do want to point out that that's not new cash for the city that had been received prior, but just moved from unearned revenue to revenue in the current year as those funds were expended. The next slide then shows total taxable value. So this is showing since 2016 the change in tax value. The blue line represents real property, the red line personal property, and the green line is a total of the two. Now, this was at a high back in 2008, and if you remember what happened in 2008, we had the housing crisis, and these values fell quite a bit, along with the personal property tax reform through 2017. But you can see that the numbers have been increasing gradually since then. I do want to point out that Headley prevents that increase from more than the greater of either the lesser of 5% or inflation. So it'll still take some time for those to continue to recover. The next slide shows a 4-year history of the general fund expenditures. Expenditures increased 12.4% to $141,863,000, largely due to increases in public safety. That last line you can see is up $13.8 million, and that's largely due to construction of the fire station. You'll also notice increase in debt service costs. That's an increase due to leases entered into in the current year. I do want to point out that's sort of an artifact of GAAP, and the way that that needs to be recorded is sort of an expense and a revenue basically at the same time, as those are entered into. The fourth slide shows the breakdown of general fund expenditures by percentage. Public safety here continues to be the largest proportion of this, with 73 cents for every dollar that the city spends going towards public safety, which is consistent with prior years. The next slide shows the budget to actual for the general fund. And the general fund expenditures finished the year approximately $17 million under budget, in which case all departments remained within budget. The variances were largely due to the timing of purchases of equipment as well as vacancies in positions. Then the next slide shows the general fund balance. And you can see here $117 million, which is an increase of about $22 million from 2024. Unassigned fund balance of $24.3 million represents about 17% of the 2025 expenditures, and the remaining is assigned for various other future expenditures. So that concludes my prepared remarks, but happy to entertain questions on any of the materials in front of you or anything else related to the audit.
Madam Chair?
Ms. Moore.
Thank you. I'm going to jump around a little bit because I kind of jumped around when I was doing this.
Totally fair.
One of the things I noticed, and maybe Rick will have to answer this, is that the revenue was less than expenditures in the grant fund by $215,000. Is that normal? It's on page 7. The revenue was less than expenditures in the grant fund by $250,000. This revenue is generated from payment and payoffs. 7, 1, 2, the third paragraph. So then my question is, what happens when, with a federal grant, and we spend more than we have? Where does the excess come from then to cover that?
Richard Fox, City Controller. Good evening, Council. Yeah, go ahead. I'm blank.
While Rick is looking at some things here, a lot of that is just due to timing and the way that GAAP works in terms of recognition of
Right.
revenue. So some things from revenue you can't recognize if they're not received within the period of availability. So
Right.
that's within 60 days of year end. And if we were to look at that grant fund, so on page 11 of the ACFR, you'll notice that in that grant fund, that second column, about 2/3 of the way down, there's that deferred inflows, unavailable revenue. So those are items that will be received but couldn't be received within that period of availability. So a
Right.
lot of that is timing. It's not an issue where you're spending more money than you're going to be bringing
Right.
in with those grants.
Right, thank you. The other question I had was, there's a comment about on page 12, bonds payable, installment purchase obligation, and landfill post-closure liability. I'm not sure what landfill that's talking about.
That's the 9A, that's in the northern part of the city, I mean, the county. I think it's
Not
by,
it's not
by
SMDA.
Washington.
Not SMDA, that one?
well, it's part of SMDA, yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
And so that one is still not a completed closure, as it's stated. So we have to report our estimated liability on that to the best of our ability.
Right, okay. So as I look at this, I'm not a numbers person, everybody knows that, I don't know why Harris doing this. We're in good shape, we can pay our bills today, but we can have some problems in the future based on liabilities that we don't know about. I mean, just simple things. you know, we don't know how many car crashes we're gonna have every year, right? Seems like we have a lot. Every other day, somebody's getting in a crash, right?
So, right, so on an annual basis, we budget an estimate for what we think our insurance costs are gonna be, plus any payouts that we're gonna have for lawsuits that may occur. But I also have a reserve in the fund balance, and I believe it's somewhere around $8 to $10 million, that if we end up with a
Big hit?
large lawsuit, that we could, I would request council to take the money out of that reserve. So, but we also have insurance coverage, so the city, on any lawsuit that happens, we gotta pay the first $1.5 million. And then after that, we have a $5 million layer, and then we got another, I believe it's 5 million. I think we got 4 or 5 millions till we get to 20 million. So as long as a lawsuit doesn't exceed 20 million, we pay the first $1.5 million.
Right, right. Are we pretty close usually in the estimate? Are we,
Yeah, we've
you're
been
pretty
pre-
conservative, so I
Yeah,
assume
we've
you
been-
have, you guess more than we need.
Right. We've been pretty close, unfortunately, this year with one of the lawsuits we had. I think we're gonna go over.
Right,
But in the past, you know, 10 years that I can recall, we've pretty well budgeted sufficiently to cover any expenditures for lawsuits.
right. And of course, I think we talked about that was, you know, I think in the notes part, or I read it somewhere, I think I heard it today, was about like sick time and things like that. We don't know, it's one thing to keep track of what we know, but we don't know who's gonna decide, I'm done. I walk over and put their papers in, and we have to pay out whatever sick time and I don't know what all we pay somebody upon their retirement, but those are a lot of unknowns, and in any year that we get, you know, a lot of those, I would think that's gonna
Yep.
push up the,
Right, and again, I have a reserve to cover those unexpected costs too,
yeah.
so.
Because I think, was it last year we had a little more
Yeah,
retirements than any of us
It goes in waves.
expected?
Sometimes we only have, 5 or 10 retirements, and then sometimes we have 20, 30, 40 retirements, so.
Right,
But again, I feel very comfortable we're covered on any of those potential payouts.
right. All right, let me see. Oh, I'll get with you later just to correct some things about the land bank.
Sure, thank you.
That's just, yeah, simple things. Let me see if there's anything else.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Moore still has.
a question for
Oh,
your
no,
auditors.
Ms. Moore still has the floor.
Oh, you have
I
one
just
more?
had one more.
Sorry.
It's okay. And then Mr. Lafferty. then
So an FTE is a full-time equivalent, right? So when are part-time employees put together to make a whole, or are they not included in the FTE?
No, I don't believe they are. Well,
So on 146, the FTEs, full-time equivalent government employees, that is only one individual full-time person, not two half-times, or we don't put,
No, I believe these are all just full-time employees for each department.
I noticed a big jump from sanitation in 2018 of 54 employees, and it's gone down to 38. 1 year it was 39. Is that because of the trucks?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when that occurred, they, they're just a driver and goes up, picks it up. You don't need guys in the back of the truck to pick them up, so. The trucks cost a lot, but they were able to reduce manpower accordingly.
Yeah, I'd like to see an analysis of that, the new cans, the trucks and all that, to see where exactly what that cost savings is. I know the longevity, the legacy costs will be greatly
Well, the other thing
reduced.
is- The other thing it really helped us with is workman's comp cases, because when you're behind the truck and you're throwing bags up in there, it's tough on your back, and
legs. and-
shoulders, and so we had a lot,
Scrapes and- yeah.
we had a lot of those injuries, and so those have
Yeah.
went down
Yeah,
substantially.
that's really good news, so, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Lafferty?
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, my first question is on page 7. We've got the middle of the page, the budgetary highlights. At year-end, the general fund expenditures were 17.8 million under budget. And it goes on to say that it was due to careful spending by department leaders and delayed capital equipment purchases. This represents a year-over-year difference of $13.2 million closer to actual year-over-year. Now, last year, we asked, how can we get closer to actual? So we actually did that, no pun intended. But what I'd like to ask is, what is the, for a municipality our size, what is the target benchmark for budgeting? Should we be, and in our other municipalities, and Mr. Fox, either for you or Mr. Yeedy, is that 10 million, is that 5 million? Are other municipalities of similar size successful in achieving a similar benchmark?
Well, this particular year, we'd be even a lot closer, but you gotta take into account that we had ARPA monies, and so that amounted to like $10 million that we covered for police and fire wages. So it really, I don't know that there's a actual target number that you can come to. When we prepare a budget, it's estimated revenues, what we anticipate to collect, and then it's estimated expenditures. So if we have a year where maybe we had a lot of vacancies, like we've had in the past with fire and police and other departments, then naturally the actual expenditure is gonna be way less than what we budgeted. So it's just gonna go depending on what happens during that fiscal year. I don't know that you can target a number or say the average should be this. It really just depends on, what happens in that year where maybe you got more revenue like we did with ARPA. We actually got more revenue than we anticipated. And then sometimes we get more state shared revenue. So it's, budget's based on estimates and things change.
Of course, and the budget's a living document throughout the year. We make
Correct.
amendments, you make reappropriations.
Yep.
We adjust as necessary. But I think what you outlined, though, with the additional 10 million in revenue from ARPA, our target, if you want to call it that, was actually a lot closer. We were 7.8 million. If you take that out of the equation, that's not going to happen year over year.
Right.
So we're actually a lot closer than the report would state if it broke it down just a little further.
Correct.
All right. So good news story there. On page 7, I'm sorry, let's see here. Page 8 is where I wanted to focus. The net position under component units, we incurred a deficit of $2.6 million. And
I'm gonna let you dive into that one.
so, Mr. Yeedy, that's at the bottom of page 8. If
Sure.
you turn to page 9, the Downtown Development Authority indicates that we had $24 million in expenses, and of that, 1.2 is interest on long-term debt. Now, that's compared to 11.5 million year over year, which appears to be the largest factor in the change to the net position deficit. And if you follow me from that breakdown to page 24, the net position deficit is 9.2 million. The change in net position, rather, is 9.2 million, with an ultimately resulting in a $5.5 million deficit in the end-of-year net position. Now, I'm curious, is this due to the capital outlay, which
Yeah,
would be
so-
under restricted assets, page 22?
So the capital outlay, so these are on a full accrual basis, so different than you budget, say, the general fund, which is on a modified basis. That capital outlay itself wouldn't be an expense on here. Those would be come in as capital assets and would be depreciated over time. That long-term debt certainly is a part of this. If you're looking at page 23, except that would normally be how it is, except that the DDA donated those assets to the city. So there were significant capital outlays on the DDA that were then expensed because those were transferred over to the city.
Wouldn't there be an offset, though, to prevent the deficit? Or is that's just how the number will fall?
Yeah, that's how the number will fall, and on the understanding that the idea with the deficit is that the DDA's future revenues should help bring that back up. If you're wondering, well, what do we do about this deficit, that would be the plan in the future. So if you look at, again, page 23 and 24, you can see that the Downtown Development Authority had $15 million of revenue in the current year, related, that an 8.3 of that was property taxes, along with 5 million of state shared revenue. So in a future year, if the city if the DDA continues to have those revenues, but then not have as many expenses, not donate significant capital outlays to the city, that deficit should recover.
All right, so the fact that there is a deficit this year in that particular column is not a concern.
It's something I would definitely keep an eye on, and I would make sure that you've got a long-term plan for the DDA and that you're not looking at solely as a one-year item, because you want to make sure, to your exact point, that will be coming up and what is the plan to bring that up. So making sure that, next year's budget you're looking at, and that probably a 5-year plan, what are the expenses, what do you expect the revenues to be, at what point is that deficit going to be recovered back to a positive?
All right, and the reason I asked about the capital outlay, that capital outlay on page 22, 4.7 million was, let's see here, it was 13.7 million last year. And so it was, that's a significant difference. And I just wanted to make sure if we're budgeting with the upcoming budget, should we be adjusting accordingly for new capital outlay? And as you indicated, long-term debt and our strategy there will adjust for it.
If I'm understanding your question correctly, you're asking, should you be adjusting budgets in future years to make sure that revenues are exceeding the expenditures in order to recover that deficit? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's exactly where I would be taking the long view on that, in terms of, taking at least a 5-year look and saying, what do we think our revenues will be? What do we think our expenses? What is our capital outlay need? And what do we need to be doing over the next 5 years to make sure that you are going to have a plan to recover that?
All right. Thank you. All right. And then on page 85, let's see here. Under budgetary information, first paragraph, budgets were not formally, it's stated here, the budgets are not formally adopted for the Tax Increment Finance Authority, the Building Authority, or Special Assessment Debt Service Funds. And I know that with Mr. Fox's assistance in the last year, we did have a budget for the TIFA. It was part of our budget process. So I'm curious if this was a misstatement or if this is referring to something else.
So, yeah, I would have to look into that. Excuse me, I was unaware of a budget for the TIF, but if that is something, we'll make sure that's corrected in next year's statements.
Okay. Mr. Fox, do you concur with that?
I do. We did adopt a budget for TIFA the last couple of years,
Mhm.
so the year before and this year. So,
Okay.
yeah, that would have to be corrected.
All right. And then the Building Authority, I know it's defunct,
Yeah.
so I don't know if, we haven't dissolved it, but the authority still exists.
Correct, but we have not done a bond issue through the building authority for years, so, and I, at this point, don't plan on doing anything through the building authority.
Okay,
so-
all right, so that's just an asterisk. All right, very good. The only other, my llast question, and Mr. Eady, as I mentioned earlier, I'll follow up with you. I've got a number of other items I just wanted to ask from informational points
Happy to
at a
provide.
later date. Thank you. Is the material findings and the planned corrective actions, these are not, the planned corrective actions are not under the supervision of Plant Moran. So you discover the weakness, you outline the finding, and you provide the information to finance and management.
Correct.
And then it is up to management to provide a remediation plan, correct the material findings or the significant findings, and then internally. It's not something that's reported back to you, is that correct?
So one clarification I want to make on that. When you receive the single audit report, that will have the corrective action plan as part of that. So that is included as part of that report, but to your point about the supervision, correct, we will not be supervising that process next year as part of the single audit report, as part of the report and internal control. And with that, we do have what's called a schedule summary of prior audit findings, and that does discuss the status of them at that point. So at that point, we'll be looking at that. And obviously, we collaborate with the city throughout the year and help and have communication and discussion, so we're happy to provide that help. But in terms of actually supervising the change, no, that is not something we do.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I yield.
Thank you. Mr. Boyke?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My question is for the auditors. When you were going over the fund balance and you stated that we're way under the budget, that we did real well managing the money, correct?
Sorry, what is the question?
The budget that was presented.
Yes.
We were under budget
Correct.
by a decent amount, correct?
Yes, $17.8 million.
One of the contributing factors was, you mentioned, were employees that were budgeted and not hired.
That is our understanding.
Can you tell me, I know there's vacancies all over the city, but one specific department, the police department, can you tell me approximately average amount of employees or what the savings was from that fund?
So that, knowing the number of employees, that would be outside the scope. I would have to defer to Rick.
Or if you know the dollar amount, how much money was saved
Yeah, I
because
don't
they
know the
weren't
dollar
hired?
amount, but I can prepare a report for you.
All right? Because I'm sure that's gonna be pretty large. We were pretty short, 25 employees there all last year on an average. And it's information I think the council and the citizens should have.
Not a
Thank you.
problem.
I'll yield back.
Thank you. Any additional questions? I have one quick one, and you may have said this, so I apologize if it's repetitive. But on the significant deficiency, you noted that we weren't tracking sick and vacation time appropriately. I'm just summarizing. My question more so is, you all have audited us for years. Why did it come up this year and not in past years? Because I assume the practice was the same.
So, yeah, good question. I would clarify, I guess, that I wouldn't say that it wasn't being tracked appropriately. I think that's not how I would frame it. There was a new accounting standard this year, and so in the past, the balances have been tracked and the balances at year ends have been correct. But in terms of historical usage patterns, that is something new that is part of this new standard, that in order to create an estimate, there needs to be some sort of data behind that. And most communities are looking at historical usage patterns to say, here's how we can justify the proportion of time that we think people will use as sick time versus be paid out as sick time, as an example. And without that usage pattern, that was more difficult to do, and that's why we're saying it wasn't as quite a precise balance, as opposed to saying, is the balance at year correct?
Got it. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Other announcements?
Madam Chair, motion to receive and file.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Lafferty. Support, anyone?
Support Dwyer.
Support Dwyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any other announcements?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Moore, Ms. McGee. Go ahead.
Thank you. Our longtime bond counsel, Mr. John Axe, passed away recently. For decades, he influenced municipal finance extending far into the community. John Axe was a towering figure in the field of municipal bonds, sophisticated, brilliant, and deeply knowledgeable. He brought exceptional legal skill and sound judgment to every matter before him. His counsel helped guide Warren through complex financing with clarity, precision, and integrity, always safeguarding the city's long-term interests. Within the municipal bond community, John Axe was widely regarded as a legend. His reputation was built not only on his intellectual rigor, but also on his professionalism and unwavering commitment to excellence. For those who had the privilege of working with him, his mastery of the law was matched by his calm presence and thoughtful approach. John's decades of service left a lasting imprint on the city of Warren. The projects he helped finance and the stability he helped ensure will continue to benefit our residents for generations to come. On behalf of the City Council, we extend our sincere condolences to his family, colleagues, and all who had the honor of working alongside him. We recognize John Axe's extraordinary service and enduring legacy with deep respect and gratitude. I had the honor of spending many hours over the years with Mr. Axe, first when my first term on council, and the most important thing I learned was that the financial rating, the bond rating of the city is the most important thing you have to keep in mind when you're dealing with the finances. And once you understand that, it makes clear the decisions you have to make. Sometimes they're very difficult decisions to make, but he was just a wealth of information, and knowing his knowledge was far beyond most of us. He had a way of explaining things that we all understood. I don't think he wasn't around quite as much. We didn't have as much activity in the last 5 or 6 years as certainly we did in the early 2000s when we were building the City Hall and doing a lot more with DDA and development than we've done recently. But he was really, really a force, and not just for Warren, but all over Southeast Michigan. He represented cities and counties, and he was known, I mean, really throughout the whole country. All the rating agencies were very familiar with him, and he had great respect for him. And I think sometimes that lent the feeling of respect for us too, because we had him, and that gave everyone a peaceful feeling about what we were doing because we had him guiding us. So he will be missed. He was very, very instrumental to the city of Warren and much of what we've done, and sad to see him go. I don't know if anybody else wanted to say anything. Yes, I'd ask for a
Moment of silence.
Thank you. Next, we lost another member of our community, Mary Matazinski, who passed away earlier this week. She was quite interested in our community. She came to the microphone quite often, and she was at events all over the city, and mostly she had her great nephew with her.
Great nephew.
And she cared for him most of his life. She made it a point of everywhere she went, making it a teachable moment for him and making him feel comfortable. And he was, he did very well because of her. And she was passionate about her neighbors. She was very concerned with their safety. So she harped on all of us for a long time, especially me, because I was her district representative. but we finally got that barricade down, the Gerald Street barricade, because she feared, and I think the police and fire agreed with her, that in the case of emergency, there would be trouble, people getting in and out of there. So we were able to get that done. It became quite a political challenge. It shouldn't have been, but people made it political. And she just wanted to make people safe. And I commend her for that. She was kind and generous with her time. She volunteered at St. Faustina. She taught catechism until just recently, I think. Once she retired, she was a substitute school teacher, I think mostly in the Warren Woods School District. So we'd hear from her a lot more in the summer, and once school went back in session, she didn't come quite as often, but sincere condolences to her family, especially Carter. I think he's really gonna miss her. She was such a force in his life, and she adored him. So we'll all miss her. Thank you.
Yes, so several residents have asked,
Oh, wait, we're doing a moment of silence first.
oh, I'm sorry.
I still have way more, but on
Okay.
other things, but I thought he was gonna talk about Mary.
Yeah, I did too. Okay, moment of silence for
I'm
Ms.
sorry she wasn't
Manazinski.
on.
It's okay. Thank you. And Ms. Moore still has a few more items. and-
Sure,
But
thank
it's
you.
just something about
Sure.
Mary. If somebody wants to say something.
Yeah, does anyone have anything they want to share about Ms. Manazinski?
Oh,
I can share that she was a great person in the community. She definitely will be missed. She was very involved in our community. She cared about the city of Warren. She was part of my district and she really went about to make sure that she attended as many events as possible. She was an aunt just like I am. And as an aunt, we take it serious, our job serious. And she loved her great nephew. And she made sure that she took care of him and made sure she brought him about throughout the neighborhoods and through the community. She would definitely be missed.
Couple items. If anyone is experiencing a housing emergency, or you know someone that is facing eviction or other reasons that someone could be homeless, there is a walk-in every second Wednesday of the month, so that would be tomorrow, from 9 to 11, at the Burnett Branch Library on Van Dyke. So if you know anybody that could use some help, this is a great resource. The FOP is having a euchre tournament March 14th, 2026. Saturday, the doors open at 4 o'clock. The tournament starts at 6 at the Christopher Wooters Lodge on 14 Mile. There are cash payouts and raffles and all sorts of things, gift baskets. I was there last year. They had a ton of gift baskets for raffle and things. So if you're interested, you can register online at www.fop124.com. And I'll also put this on our Facebook page. Just to give everybody a heads up, we do have the budget schedule. The budget is due to council on April 13th. The first budget hearing is scheduled for Saturday, April 18th, and that's probably going to be at 8:30 we usually start. And then additional hearings will be that Monday and Tuesday, the 20th and 21st, if we need the time. And I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. McGee, then Mr. Newman.
Thank you very much. I've received a few calls on maintenance for the roads, whether it be DeQuinder, Ryan, Hoover, wherever. I make sure that I input it into the system and make sure I call and make the request. But I wanted to bring the map that Dave, our director, had provided for me, but I could not make a copy. But I wanted to share the telephone numbers. If there's a road maintenance for the city of Warren, you will need to call 586-759 9270 if there's repairs as far as potholes on the city residence area. And then county, you need to call 586-463-8671. Again, that's the city for 586-759-9270. And for the county roads, you will call 586-463-8671. I also wanted to briefly update the council and our residents on the 2026 Detroit Policy Conference that Councilman Henry Noonan and myself attended earlier this month. The conference provided valuable opportunities to connect with city and county leaders from across the region and gain insight that directly apply to Warren's challenges and opportunities. The sessions covered important topics including 2 new public safety investments, economic development initiatives, data centers, and regional collaborations, among other topics. Given Warren's importance as the 3rd largest city and also as a neighbor of the largest city, I felt it was important to hear and learn what's happening in our neighborhood areas. Council members from throughout the area attended. It is important for Warren to represent at these events, so I was pleased that Councilman Noonan and myself did attend. Thank you.
Mr. Noonan.
Yeah, several of my constituents during the cold snap where the wind chills were getting the temperature below 0, and even the basic temperature was getting to below 0, asked to have the neighborhoods know that they should bring their pets in and not leave them out for long periods of time. It's very dangerous if you leave a dog out for like a half an hour, even under those conditions, and cats. So I was getting that, and I decided to bring that up here. I hope people hear and do better next time. That's it.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Hearing and seeing none, we will move on. Next item.
Next item is 11A, request to amend the financial statement audit contract with Plant Moran to account for services provided outside the original scope of the contract. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 11B, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving consulting services with Willis Towers Watson for calculation of actuarially required reserves for cities' self-insured no-fault automobile liability. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer? Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12A, legal update.
Mr. Schroeder?
Thank you. I have a really good update for the council on the land bank situation, which this council unanimously supported. And we received a phone call last month from the state land bank director, who saw that we have an ambitious agenda that the council supports and the land bank is implementing. And he said that they had some funds available to give us a consultant who can help the land bank get a lot of projects off the ground. And the state would be able to pay for this consultant, and they would work directly for the land bank and on projects for the land bank. We had the opportunity to talk to the state land bank, it was yesterday, was it?
Today. Yesterday.
It was yesterday. And they introduced us to this consultant. Her name is Emily Dorr. She's very well accomplished in planning, zoning, economic development, and she herself is the former state land bank director. and she's ready to hit the ground running. And she is going to take over the project where we are getting grant money for 3 homes. The city council just put 3 vacant homes into the land bank. They're dilapidated structures. They are uninhabitable. This grant money will pay for those homes to come down, and they will be vacant lots that the city can then, or the land bank can then sell to developers. And then that money will go into the land bank and fund further activities, which is great. She's also able to meet, there's a local developer who has some ambitious projects. She's gonna be able to meet with this local developer to see what the land bank can do for her. We have a vacant lot file. Hunter Manicus from the Economic Development Office, last summer, he put together this vacant lot file with, I don't know, there's something like 300 to 400 vacant lots in the city that could be eligible for the land bank to help do something with. And Hunter's updating that, and she's gonna review this vacant lot file and see what we can do. She's gonna pursue other grant money for the land bank. She's gonna help us develop policies. She's worked with other land banks, so when we turn around these lots and sell them, that we're doing it in a fair, honest, equitable manner, that it's not, you know, $1 for you because, you know, you might know somebody and all that kind of thing. It's gonna be also a way for the land bank to make money, so the land bank can fund for their activities. She's also, yeah, I said she's gonna help us with the grant money. There's other grants coming down the pike. So later this year, there's other grants coming that we can take advantage of. She's also gonna look at some of the commercial properties in the city. We hope maybe there might be something for the old fire station #1. So things are rolling there pretty good. And I wanna thank all the land bank board members, including Council Member Moore and Council Member Lafferty, for getting us to that point. So that's good news.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to receive and file the legal update?
So moved.
Support, anyone?
Support.
Ms. McGee. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next item.
Next item is 12B, proposed ordinance to amend Chapter 2, Administration, Article 5, Boards and Commissions, Division 9 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Warren relating to the Housing Commission, first reading. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. Madam Chair, through the chair to Mr. Schroeder, can you explain where we're at and how we got here? And
Yes. At the direction of this city council from budget hearings in 2025, we worked to reform our Housing Commission ordinance. As I've stated many times before, the Housing Commission ordinance, excuse me, is from the 1960s. It's out of date. It's at least 30 years out of date. It's not following the state law. It's not following a Supreme Court decision. So what we're trying to do is align the ordinance with state law, and so that the relationship between the city and the Housing Commission aligns with state law and charter. And so that's what this is doing. And I think it's important to state that this confirms that the Housing Commission is an independent employer. So they're not employees of the city. The Housing Commission is an independent employer. This goes back to a law passed in the mid-90s. The Michigan Supreme Court upheld it, and essentially, they're not employees of the city. I know from time to time that council members get complaints about personnel issues at the Warren Housing Commission, and I think maybe it's because the residents there or the individuals who are complaining, they might not understand. This is to give clarity to that relationship. So if council members get calls about that, it should probably be referred back to the Housing Commission or the mayor's office who appoints the housing commissioners, because the city council, really the way the law is set up, can't interfere in the day-to-day operations of the Housing Commission. Completely independent employer. But this also modernizes governance, transparency, and public sector provisions, requires robust financial, operational, and tenant-related practices. It approves the appropriate city and city council oversight, including rule approval, audits, and reporting. So I think this is going to bring us up to date, so at least our Housing Commission ordinance and our governing procedures here line up with state law. In addition, the next item, I might as well talk about it now because it ties into it. The next item is an employment and operations agreement. So since the Warren Housing Commission is an independent employer, well, they're using the city facilities. They use city HR, they use city legal department, they use procurement. So this agreement was worked on, worked with the city attorney's office, worked with the Housing Commission, the director, Sean Clark, who contributed to this as well, to make sure that city administrative services are using agencies. The city gets reimbursed for that. The city will also continue to collect a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes, since there's taxes aren't paid on those buildings, they're public buildings. This also requires Housing Commission personnel rules that are appropriate for a public employer, and it subjects the Housing Commission employees and officials to the city's ethics and nepotism provisions to make sure that's being upheld. It designates the controller as the fiscal agent who provides financial services consistent with the administrative fee structure. Procurement will be done through the purchasing division. They're subject to FOIA, that's definitely outlined. And the city has a broad indemnification under which the Housing Commission will indemnify and hold the city harmless from claims arising from Housing Commission obligations under the agreement. So this confirms what we need under state law. It protects the city, it protects the Housing Commission, and we have an agreement that will function and make sure the city is reimbursed for those services that are provided. So what we're asking for is the first reading. I recommend approval of the first reading, so we bring this up to consistency with our state law. And then I would ask that we hold adoption of the actual employment operations agreement until the second reading of this ordinance.
Thank you. Mr. Lafferty?
I'm sorry, Ms. Moore, you had discussion first?
No, I'm done.
Oh, you are done, thank you. Through the chair to Mr. Schroeder, obviously the second reading codifies. Will this also require an intergovernmental agreement between us and the Housing Commission in addition to the ordinance?
No, there's no intergovernmental agreement. There is an employment and operations agreement. So there's no need for an intergovernmental agreement because the state law provides that the Housing Commission is an independent employer and they have their duties and obligations are defined under state statute, and our ordinance will now reflect that.
All right, so paperwork is really going to be on their end, formulating all of that to comply with state law in the ways that they don't currently.
Well, and the city too, because in some ways it seemed as though the city was acting like the employer when actually the Housing Commission is the employer. So I think it works on both ends. On both the city side and the Housing Commission side, everybody's going to be in their lane, and then where there's opportunities for joint participation, that employment and operations agreement will govern.
Good clarity. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes, so, Mr. Schroeder, if the director signed some kind of worksheet claiming overtime, who would sign off on that as a supervisor? All the departments in the city, do they need to have someone else sign off, or can he sign off on his own overtime?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that he qualifies for what's called overtime. I think Mr. Fox would have to clarify that. I don't think he qualifies for overtime. He may qualify for what's known as compensatory time, obviously leave time such as sick time and vacation time. As far as scheduling that, he would report to the Housing Commission. This agreement does say that there needs to be rules put in place that are consistent with being a public agency, so I think some clarity would have to follow, but that would be the job of the Housing Commission to come up with a procedure. He reports to the Housing Commission. The Housing Commission is the employer, not the city.
Right.
So, but they can have an agreement where they use the HR department and he can report his time off somewhere. We haven't gotten that far yet, so I don't want to negotiate that publicly. And it wouldn't be my role anyway, but I think there's a framework in place to handle that.
That's good. Hopefully it would follow with ethics. It would be very ethical and it'd be transparent so that everyone in the housing complex could know that everything was above board, because apparently some people really don't think it is. But I hope it is. I don't know. Anyways, thank you very much. I think that's all I had right now.
Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12C, consideration and adoption of a resolution approving an employment and operations agreement between the City of Warren and the Warren Housing Commission. Motion to table.
Support to table.
Okay, there is no discussion on the tabling motion, so I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes to table.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes to table.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes, the table.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Items tabled. Next item.
Next item is 12D, which it was a placeholder for some resolutions that we assign numbers to, so I would just suggest we remove this.
12D.
Yeah.
Do we just move past it, Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank
No
you.
action.
So next item.
Next item is 12E, regarding, discussion regarding new library naming. This is Mr. Lafferty and my item. Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
Discussion.
Thank you. Mr. Lafferty and I have collaborated on this item, and we have a statement that I'd like to read. Pursuant to the City of Warren's governing framework, the naming of municipal buildings is an authority recognized to rest with the appropriate governing body or oversight body. In the case of the Warren Library System, that authority lies with the Library Commission, and the City Council fully acknowledges and respects that role. At the same time, the Warren City Council retains a vested interest in honoring individuals whose service and legacy have made a lasting impact on the city and its institutions. In recognition of that shared civic responsibility, this proposal is being brought forward collaboratively by council members with deep institutional knowledge and long-standing ties to the Warren community. As the senior serving member of the City Council, I bring historical perspective and continuity to this recommendation. Councilman Jonathan Lafferty, as a lifelong resident of the City of Warren, brings personal knowledge of the community, its history, and the individuals who have shaped its civic life. Together, we support advancing this proposal in recognition of a legacy that predates and transcends current Library Commission membership. This proposal is offered with respect for the Library Commission's authority and with the intent of ensuring that the city's institutional memory, long-term service, and community history are thoughtfully considered in the naming of a new library facility, particularly where the honorees' contributions are directly and substantially tied to the library system itself. We are humbly requesting that the Library Commission consider naming the new library in honor of Richard L. Palmer, which is justified by his extraordinary and sustained commitment to public service and to the Warren Library System over the course of more than 3 decades. Richard Palmer served the City of Warren for 30 years with the Friends of the Warren Library and served 10 years on the Warren Library Commission, providing consistent leadership, institutional knowledge, and thoughtful stewardship of one of the city's most important public assets. His tenure reflects a rare level of dedication and continuity in municipal service, during which he helped guide the library system through periods of growth, change, and evolving community needs. Throughout his service, Mr. Palmer was a strong advocate for accessible, high-quality library services for residents of all ages. He supported policies and initiatives that strengthened educational opportunities, promoted lifelong learning, and ensured that Warren's libraries remained welcoming, inclusive, and responsive to the community. His work contributed to the long-term stability and success of the library system and helped position it as a cornerstone of civic life in Warren. Naming a new library in Dick Palmer's honor recognizes not only the length of his service, but the depth of his impact. It reflects the city's appreciation for exemplary volunteer leadership and sets a meaningful precedent by honoring an individual whose legacy is directly tied to the mission and success of the library itself. This designation will serve as a lasting tribute to Richard L. Palmer's dedication to public education, community enrichment, and the residents of the city of Warren. I have been approached, as has Mr. Lafferty, by more than several residents, former members of the Library Commission, and some people, I think, have even been at the recent meetings suggesting that the library should be named after Mr. Palmer. I knew Mr. Palmer for 25 years, I guess. He has lots more service to the city than just the library system. He was on the school board for a very long time, and the Warren Symphony, and did lots with the church, volunteered there. So he was just an exemplary volunteer. And, we've lost so many legends in our community last couple of years, from Eleanor Bates and Sue Keffer and Kingsley Sears, and so many people that have had such a contribution. And it's been a long time since we could name some building after someone like Dick Palmer. So it's just we're asking the library to consider this. We certainly are not, the vote is not ours to make, but I think this is a good suggestion. So thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Lafferty?
I want to say I agree with everything Ms. Moore just read. I fully support this. She refers to them as legends. And I've often referred to Mr. Palmer as a pillar of the community. And I don't think there's a better legacy to leave behind than one that will continue to touch generations ahead. Lifelong learning, and he raised his children here, and the community has grown around him, and his legacy will last for generations long after we're gone. And I think the library, in living memory, a testament to his legacy, is most fitting. So I fully support this. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, so the motion is to send this a memo over to the Library Commission for consideration.
Yes.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Thank you. The next item is 12F, which is, would be to approve a settlement discussed in closed session on February 5th, 2025, in the matter of Jerome Quinney versus City of Warren, Macomb County Circuit Court Case 25003803NF. So moved.
Support Lafferty.
Thank you. I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is Hardison versus City of Warren, Macomb County Circuit Court Case number 2500302NO. This would be a motion to approve settlement discussed pursuant to the terms discussed February 5th, 2025 in closed session.
Motion to approve.
Ms. Moore, did you make a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lafferty and Ms. Moore, a second. I will call the question. Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is Hooks versus City of Warren. Again, motion to approve settlement discussed in closed session February 5th, 2025 pursuant to those terms. Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12H, which is the matter of Ford versus City of Warren. Motion to approve the terms discussed in closed session on February 5th, 2025. Motion to approve.
Support Lafferty.
We'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 12I. This is Mr. Lafferty's item. It's a request for information from sanitation. Motion to approve?
Support Lafferty. Discussion?
Discussion, Mr. Lafferty.
Thank you. In response to several inquiries from the public, I'd like to ask, through the chair, to Mr. Mazzarelli that the sanitation department provide the information on past purchases of all of the trash bins that we have purchased since the inception of the program, metrics on replacements of the bins, the lids, and then also about damage reports that are called in to sanitation. And then to have that report prepared and presented to council in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes.
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13A, which was tabled 1/27/2026, the 88 transition plan. We've been asked to hold off on this for another week, or next meeting, because no one was aware that whether we were going to take it off the table or not. So they couldn't get the whole team together for tonight, so,
So item stays on the table.
yes.
Okay, next item.
Next item is 13B, request of the Parks and Recreation Director for an appropriation of funds from the Recreational Capital Improvement Reserve in the amount of $1,663,500 to cover the demolition and rebuilding of multiple structures located within Howmuch Park. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved with discussion.
Support Lafferty. Discussion?
Discussion, Ms. Moore.
Thank you. There you are. Could you please explain what this is?
Yes, good evening,
Jason
Council.
Spiller.
Jason Spiller, Director of Parks and Recreation. I come to you today with a proposal of Howmuch Park. Howmuch Park is one of our premier parks in the city of Warren. It's our most heavily used park. It gives the most attendance throughout the year with all the sports and activities we have going on there. It's also a very big picnic and pavilion. We're also putting a new play structure in this year. However, for the last year, Howmuch Park has been operating without any real permanent bathrooms. We just fixed the middle bathrooms where the athletic fields are. However, last year, the south restrooms, which are located by the south pavilions, were closed due to they're not operational. We had porta-johns surrounding them. The north bathrooms were the same situation. The north pavilion, which is the large pavilion currently right now, is in a dire need of replacement or removal. It is in a very dangerous situation. It is unsafe in overhead and on the ground. I am requesting a proposal to remove the north pavilion, take it out, completely remove it out of the grounds, transform the north pavilion right now, the north bathrooms, into a maintenance garage, which we currently do not have, to store in our brand new ball field equipment and all maintenance equipment on site, changing the south restrooms, renovating them into full ADA compliant restrooms, and creating a 4-foot pathway connecting that back into the current pathways. That is our proposal to do this summer. We feel that is very important. This is the pavilion is by far a safety factor that needs to be addressed. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
The pavilion was originally built by the Lions Club, if I'm correct, right, Mr. Lefty? And we had talked about demolishing it a few years ago, and they were pretty upset about it, because nobody had come to them to ask them to do repairs or anything over the years. But now I think it's beyond, from what I'm hearing from you, that there's been some structural modifications made to it that make it impossible to keep it up any longer.
There is, yes, there's structural overhead and including support beams that are very compromised, as well as the ground itself are missing concrete, and we have heaves that we have identified, painted, and we know that there's hazards out there. It's just not a really safe condition to have people picnicking and enjoying underneath there without trip and fall hazards.
We were really lucky to have that club sponsor that and pay for that a long time ago. We don't get participation like that, like we did years ago. I come from a small town that everything is paid for with private donation. They have fundraisers to maintain a carousel that's been there for hundreds of years and things like that. I mean, I think that happens more in small towns, but we're a big city, so we don't get as much of that. But maybe we could put a plaque or something on it to honor the Lions Club or something, so that we never forget that they actually did something very, very nice for us a long time ago.
Definitely we could look at do something like that.
Maybe a plaque or something. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Boyke?
Boy, you've been working. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
A lot of improvements. You haven't mentioned anything about the lights. I get a lot of complaints from the baseball players that they're inoperational and that we've been renting big lights to come in.
Last I heard it, the lights are working, they were fine. There is future we'll have to look at. Some of the posts are wood, which obviously the metal ones are gonna secure up. Those have been up there a long time, they're really high up there. I know they're not LEDs, but we could look into in the future.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Like I said, everything you said is positive, and I'm sure my colleagues up here will say the same. Thank you.
Ms. McGee?
I am so happy about this. My biggest concern is the structure of the sidewalk, the cement area. It is a great trip hazard, very unsafe. I just wanted to know, once approved, what area would you start with first? Will it be just demolition and then the concrete area, or?
Yeah, I would like to get the pavilion out of way and get the concrete gone before the public is actually getting out there.
Yes.
First and foremost, the safety factor, so if we can get the pavilion removed and gone and the concrete taken care of right away, then we can work on the other buildings. I want to get them open, but I want to make sure when the weather breaks, people start coming to the parks immediately, and they'll come out there.
That will work. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Look forward to it.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Lafferty?
Thank you. Good evening, sir. I had the fortune to attend the last Parks Recreation Commission meeting, where you gave quite a bit of collateral to the commission members about what the structures will look like, the depictions and the elevations. Could you please provide that to council office to share with the council members? I know that my colleagues would like to see that.
Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah. So we're talking about the demolition tonight. What he wants to build in replacement of is spectacular. And yeah, the pictures are out in the hallway, but it is really something to see. What we have coming in the future is night and day to what we used to have, what we've been used to for so many years. Thank you, Lions. Thank you for everything you've done. I agree, Ms. Moore. Let's honor their legacy in the new structure. There's a point in time which we have to tear down, replace, and rebuild. There's a time, but there's also an opportunity to honor the history from when it came. So with that, I'd also like to ask a side note. I've received a few phone calls relative to the Fitzgerald Recreation Center. Could you please provide an update as to what occurred and what the temporary plans are at the moment?
Currently, we were notified that we have 4 heating units in the gymnasium area. 2 of them are failing. JSI have noted us. And with that, the estimated cost to repair that is somewhere in the $50,000 range. And as of right now, because of the building and the assessment going on, we are going to do an assessment at the facility to see the viability of it. As of right now, because we did not repair those heating elements right now, we moved. Currently, we are operating Tuesday and Thursday at the Fitzgerald Recreation Center. for about 6 hours per day. We currently moved them to a new location temporarily, so we did not interrupt the service. We're doing a full assessment of the building coming up and seeing what the viability of it is in the future. And we're going to have to wait for the assessment to come in to see what it says.
Okay, and I'd like to clarify on the record that, Mr. Spiller, that the Fitzgerald Recreation Center, who is the owner on record for that building?
Right now, it is currently owned by the Fitzgerald School District.
All right, and so we have a lease agreement for using that pretty much exclusively, correct?
Yes, we are currently, we're on a month-to-month basis on the lease.
All right.
Yes.
And if you could also please send a copy to council office of that lease agreement when city attorney is able to locate it.
I would do that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Not having seen the new plans, we're tearing out the pavilion, which is super important because it's been a safety hazard. Are we replacing that pavilion at some point?
Yes, the entire project came in one full project in one. However, due to funding sources, we're not able to complete phase 2. I know that for safety factors, phase 1 is very important to me. I am going to do my due diligence to get phase 2 going. I think it's very important for the community to have that and to go back to being a very viable place. So
Okay, so the pavilion will be hopefully with funding in phase 2.
that's my goal, is to
Yeah.
try to find funding for that and get that project moving forward really soon.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Uh-huh.
where is a group from Fitzgerald now?
Currently, they are operating in the old BRAC Center.
Question, I like to make sure we're doing anything. Did the DDA vote to approve that use?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see
So,
that.
and
on the agenda.
they're in there right now. They're happy about it. They're actually sharing the space. There are other city departments using that facility as well.
For what?
Hmm?
For what?
Police is fire, I think, and police are using it for training purposes in the back area.
Okay, and I want to thank you. Last week, we were here for FOIA Appeals Committee, and we ran into Mr. Spiller in the hallway. So we got the ghost tour of the facility. I was in rooms and levels that I didn't know exist, and I think I might be able to find the pictures. I'll just have to come with grubby clothes one day and wander through here and see if I can't find them. So, we're looking for old pictures of, as we talked, of
The council.
old council pictures, the ones that were at the court, and we've heard they're under this stage, but I didn't realize there's all kinds of storage upstairs, there's other places, there's rooms upstairs. So, I'm gonna uncover them. We found one. Whatever term, I saw Choop on one of the pictures, so it's not that old. But anyway, thanks very much for your time the other day, I appreciate it. And I actually joined the community center
Nice.
for the first time ever.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. I will call the question if there's no further discussion. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13C, request of the police department for an increase in budgeted revenues and appropriations in the amount of $217,000 to account for the receipt of a grant from the State of Michigan's Michigan Commission Law Enforcement Standards, MCOLS, for CPE In-Service Training Award. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is 13D, request of the police department to waive the bid process and award advanced police emergency vehicle operations training to Oakland Community College in a total amount of $57,500. Consideration and adoption of a resolution. So moved with discussion.
Support Dwyer.
Discussion.
Just very quickly, I was concerned that we were going to Oakland Community College and not Macomb Community College. It was explained to me that it's not offered at Macomb Community College, so there's the answer to my question.
Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Lafferty?
Yes.
Mr. Boyke?
Yes.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes,
Ms. McGee?
Yes.
Rogan C. is a yes. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is notice of reappointment of Natalie Piernick to the Library Commission with a term expiration of June 30th, 2029.
Motion to approve with discussion.
Support, anyone? Support.
I'll support it with discussion.
Ms. McGee got it, but I will mark you down for discussion. Mr. Lafferty, discussion, and then Mr. Boyke.
Thank you. With the term of expiration, June 30th, 2029, leads you to believe that this term is up in the next couple of weeks and we need to act immediately. And so I'm puzzled. Why is this coming to us right now? And doing some research, came across a couple of items I want everyone to be aware of. And it has to do with the recent posting of the Planning Commission terms on the city's website. And this highlights a troubling pattern of delay and inattention to critical appointments by the mayor. Now, the Planning Commission is authorized to have 9 members, yet only 7 seats are currently filled. Now, of those, 3 members are serving on expired terms, including 2 officers on the commission. The vice chair's term expired in June of 2022, the secretary's in June of 23, and another commissioner's term expired in June of 2023. Now, this is not the fault of the commissions or the commissioners, but these are not minor oversights either. They directly affect the stability, continuity, and credibility of a body that's responsible for guiding land use and development decisions in our city. Even more concerning, not a single appointment has been made to either the Veterans Advisory and Memorial Commission, the Communications Commission, or the Elected Officials Compensation Commission after repeated requests. These commissions exist for important public purposes, and for Mayor Stone to leave them completely unstaffed signals a lack of urgency and respect for their missions. These are not optional and require immediate action, not deprioritized to the bottom of some arbitrary list the mayor chooses to instead focus upon. The situation with the Downtown Development Authority further underscores this problem. Proposed appointments were tabled by council on July 9th, 2024, specifically to allow the mayor time to identify new candidates. In the months since, only 1 appointment has been made, and the DDA continues to struggle to maintain a quorum. At the same time, 1 Libraries Commission member whose term does not expire until June 30th, tonight's item, is being reappointed 4 months early, while another member with the same exact expiration date is not being reappointed at all, raising further questions about the consistency and transparency of the appointment process. Finally, the fact that the Planning Commission terms were only recently added to the city's website raises a broader concern. With complete and up-to-date public information, let me restate that, without complete and up-to-date information, it is impossible for anyone to know how many other boards and commissions may also be operating with expired terms. I remind Mayor Stone that timely appointments are not optional housekeeping items. They are a core responsibility of the executive branch. Continued delays undermine public trust. They weaken important commissions, and they hinder the city's ability to function effectively. Thank you.
I'd like to bring up the fact that what Mr. Watts brought up earlier. The council was provided an application from the city attorney's office with an address. I checked that address at our BSA. and it doesn't have her name on it. It appears to be a rental property. In order for me to pass this, or we should have rent receipts or a current utility bill attached to that, which we do not. There's no way for us to confirm that person's a resident other than what's put on the application. In light of that, I would like to make a motion that we deny the appointment based on that information.
Support Dwyer.
Mr. Boyke made a motion to deny. Mr. Dwyer, you're supporting that. Is that correct? Okay. Any other discussion?
I would like to just add real quick to that. This information is known to the mayor what has to be presented to us. And she continually puts the application in of what she wants to put in it, knowing full well that we're up here, we have to approve it. I can't see how you could approve it when we can't confirm it. And I'll yield back.
Thank you. Ms. McGee?
Is it possible that we can get the information to confirm whether or not she stay at that residence, like rental receipts? If she is renting that residence, then we should be provided with rental receipts. I don't want to deny knowing that she lived there and she may have that information.
Through the, Madam Chair? Through the chair to Mr. Schroeder, if we deny, the mayor does have by charter provision the ability to send the appointment back. Isn't that correct?
This is an interesting question that I was getting ahead of here because the Library Commission is its own commission under the charter, but there's also a state law reference here. And so my conclusion after reviewing the state law, which is a Public Act 164 of 1877, the library law, and the charter, is that this is a situation where council has to approve the mayor's appointment. This is not a receive and file or deny for a reason. This is like a confirmation type appointment. So council either confirms the appointment or denies the appointment. I don't believe that would prevent the mayor from resending this appointment over again, to answer your question, but I got to that. I wanted you to know how we got to that answer. It's a little bit different than under 7.6 of the charter, where it's a department head or a commission that wasn't created by charter. So I do have the legal research on this. I can forward it to council. I don't know if Ms. Michaels has a position on that. I'd certainly welcome her input, but to make sure we're all aligned on this. But if council denies it, the mayor, I believe, certainly could bring this back.
Thank you, Mr. Schroeder. Ms. McGee still has the floor.
I'm thinking to myself, I know that there are rental properties out there without their name on it. It doesn't mean necessarily that they're not renting that place where they live. So I don't want to deny something, knowing that that person does live there and they can provide us the information. And so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. Mr. Noonan, 1 second. Mr. Lafferty, I had to run to the restroom. Can you just summarize what you shared briefly? Because I missed your, what you had shared.
I summarized a number of concerns with appointments, this being so far out of place.
And others are not, are sitting years in.
Years out of date, years on expired terms, and here we are talking about one that doesn't expire for another, 4 months, yet, there are other commissions that don't even exist and have no appointments whatsoever.
Understood. Thank you. Mr. Noonan.
I propose that we table this until such time as the mayor is able to confirm that she is a resident.
You have to make a
Can I
motion.
make a comment before, can you
Yes.
hold your
Yep.
tabling? Just for,
I yield.
if I can make a comment?
Yep.
So I want to go back a little bit. When this person was appointed, we approved that appointment. And like day one, she was in there fighting against the library that we had all approved. And I was a little concerned how someone could day one be against something that everybody was in agreement on. So that's a little troublesome. There was a lot that went on with the Library Commission. Many of them were not happy what was happening. We had resignations of longtime people. And then this person ended up being the chairperson. I think that's created some problems because she didn't understand, she didn't know what a fund balance was, didn't know who Richard Fox was. So I think that, you know, things have been, it's been very rocky. You know, Miss Urban was supposed to retire a year ago, and that has drug on in the process. And, you know, there's been a lack of transparency, and, you know, the budget was presented and the Library Commission had never even voted on it. So there's just been a lack of something in the last year that's not been great. I don't watch every Library Commission. I do watch some of them because Ms. Harris records live, so I do catch some of them. And I do get feedback and comments from a lot of people in the library system. Certainly, if you want to do more research on where this person lives, I don't see a problem with that. You know, if we want to be guaranteed about that. I have other concerns, but I'm certainly willing, if you want to table it, Mr. Noonan, I'm comfortable with that. But you know, I think we need to work hard to shore up that commission, because I think we need a little more direction going on in that commission. Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Procedurally, I had made a motion to approve for the purpose of discussion. So I will withdraw that motion as there was another motion made to deny.
I move that we table this.
I
Okay.
support.
So we've got a, thank you, Mr.
What happens to
Lafferty.
my motion?
Oh, you had a motion to deny. The table supersedes the motion to deny. So the tabling motion pauses.
Call vote?
Not on the, not the.
Once a
not-
tabling.
Once someone makes a motion to table, the other motions die. Correct, Mary?
Okay.
So if the tabling
Okay.
fails, then we would go to the motion to deny. Okay, so, and thank you for pointing that out. I have a motion to table by Mr. Noonan and support by Ms. McGee. I will call the question. Mr. Noonan,
Yes?
Ms. McGee,
Yes.
Ms. Moore,
Yes?
Mr. Lafferty,
No.
Mr. Dwyer,
No.
Mr. Boyke,
No.
let's see, and I will table. So item is tabled, correct, yeah. Next item.
Next item is 13F, which is the appointment of Anthony Conigliaro as the wastewater treatment plant sanitary engineer. Motion to receive and file.
Support Lafferty.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I was shocked today because I looked at the agenda for the Civil Service Commission meeting this week, and I saw that Ms. Donna Dordeski was moving back to civil service. So I think this is her path. She is going to retire.
Succession.
And so this is her plan. And she will be around then to help Anthony move into the position. And I understand he's extremely well qualified. He's been vetted extensively, and I'm very, very comfortable with what I've heard before the meeting tonight. So congratulations to Mr. Conigliaro, I'm hoping. Thank you.
This is the gentleman that came and presented with Donna, right? Yeah, he was fantastic. Okay, excellent. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing and seeing none, your motion was to receive and file. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Next item.
Next item is audience for general topics.
Members of the audience who would like to address City Council this evening may do so under the audience portion by filling out a general audience form located on the right side of the stage. You have 3 minutes. Yes, Ms. Sanker, last call, get in your audience form. First up is Mr. Watts. And after Mr. Watts is Wesley Arnold.
So let me just say, disappointed that you tabled that item. It's ridiculous. So I'm here tonight to talk about the mayor. She's in charge of a city with a $350 million budget. And I received a message a couple of days ago. I don't normally look at this stuff all the time. And I looked at her campaign finance report at Macomb County. She has never filed her quarterly report for October and is now at maximum fine of $500. Now, looking at the documents, they've mailed her house, they've mailed her P.O. box, and here we are, February, and it still hasn't been filed, nor has the fine been paid. Lo and behold, last week, the annual report was due, and guess what? That's not filed either. So it brings to question, with all the stuff that I hear in my travels, it doesn't seem like anything's getting done around this city. You know, she's too busy meeting with the brownies and photo ops and stuff. I mean, I was on council, we did a hell of a lot of photo ops, but boy, we sure got a lot of work done. I haven't seen anything since she's been in office. And to be honest with you, it's getting disgusting. The transparency is horrible. When I look at the agenda and I can't see where somebody lives so that I can check the documents, most of them I can figure out. It's pretty easy. But when I look at a document that they produced and then I look at the history of the water bill and the person paid their water bill just before it was submitted to be an appointment, come on, folks. Somebody's been in arrears on the water bill for 20 years and all of a sudden it's paid. Well, I started going through the commission members. Boy, we have a problem. We have a tax problem. We have a water bill problem. Where's the mayor? We have all these appointments that haven't been done. You know, people come in front of planning, that's important. They deserve a full board. And they deserve them to be freshly appointed or reappointed. Now, transparency. There's a problem with transparency when she redacts everything. The first packet I got on my FOIA for the police commissioner was 6 inches thick and everything was redacted. Met last week and I still can't get the information because the mayor's withholding. I recently requested numbers on the police department and I finally got that back. It was overdue. And with all due respect to the police, because, you know, I'm going to support them 1,000,000%, I didn't get my numbers. I did get some generic stuff. I'll be able to fill in the gap, and the next council meeting, I'm going to give you a report on what we're really short. And I'll have to do some real thinking on those numbers because I didn't get what I needed, but I know who's withholding those numbers, and
You're
that's
at
disgusting.
time.
So.
Thank you, Mr. Watts.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Arnold. After Mr. Arnold is Pete Sutcliffe.
Sorry, I'm old and slow.
Thank you for your time and dedication. Please get a pen. I got 6 words for you to jot down shortly. I am Professor Wesley Arnold, who has done some research on, believe it or not, some important secrets you need to know, including threats. Just a few days ago, some new scientific evidence was revealed of great importance, which you need to know about. because it will affect Warren residents. Jot down these 6 words: best ideas, FYI, tap, save this. Once again, best ideas, I forgot the decimal point. FYI, it's a website. The word tap and save this. So using your phones or any computer, you can go to this website, bestideas.fyi, and at the very top, tap on Save This. This will give you a very safe PDF file, which will give you this important information quickly without cost. First, go to the very end of this document. By the way, you should have a piece of paper in front of you that has this, and read the next to the last page, which is a very short summary. Then take a look at the other pages about secrets you need to know. So please look at this because it has great importance. And please look at this because it has valuable, believe it or not, secret information which you need to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Pete Sutliff. After Pete is Carl Henley.
Good evening, Council. I've been reviewing past council meetings and wanted to applaud Mr. Boyke for introducing a resolution December 16th to ask Eagle to prevent 14 communities in Oakland County from discharging sewage into our waterways from the George Kuhn Basin. This is just one of many examples of pollution not being stopped by political borders. We also know that pesticides, fertilizers, or herbicides used in one area can easily flow into other areas and cause problems. Industrial pollutants can flow through air or water to other parts of the environment. It's unlikely that we could clean up Oakland County's sewer overflows once they reach Lake St. Clair. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. The only real solution is to get them to stop releasing sewage in the first place. The same thing is true regarding climate change. And it's tough to wrap your head around because the main drivers of climate change don't really stand out as much as untreated sewage or smelly herbicides or pesticides. Carbon dioxide is invisible and odorless. Methane causes problems in small, unnoticeable quantities. And we're all used to seeing water in various amounts throughout our lives. But all of these, carbon dioxide, methane, and water, are big contributors to climate change by trapping more heat in the atmosphere and causing more severe storms, flooding, drought, and as Jerry Hasbecker explained on the January 27th, they can even cause unusually long periods of cold from disruptions of the jet stream like we've been experiencing. All of these put lives at risk. So what do we do about it? Is anyone in city administration or this council well-versed in stopping these types of pollution? Why not ask people who work on this problem all day, every day, to tailor a plan to our unique city? I'm referring to the Climate Action RFP you guys all voted for, and now when the low bid comes in for that service, you start dragging your feet. Over $150,000, that's already in the budget. Look, you guys spent $300,000 on the last meeting for a street sweeper. I guess just keeping up appearances is twice as important as solving an existential problem. Let's engage Blue Strike and put together a climate action plan without further delay. I'd really appreciate it if someone could comment if there's going to be a committee of the whole coming up soon.
Thank you. Next is Carl Henley, and then after that is Gloria Sanker. Okay, you have 3.
Assalamu alaikum. History will not be kind to those who choose to ignore atrocities in their streets. You only have one chance, one opportunity to be on the correct side of history. Silence is not golden. Silence is not an option. Silence is complicity. It would behoove the Warren City Council to introduce a resolution decrying and condemning the use of ICE agents currently terrorizing the peaceful residents and citizens in Minneapolis. ICE, in its current organizational form, must be dismantled. The Warren City Council should take a stand and provide a strong moral compass for their constituents, for those in power who choose to turn their heads, shirking their responsibilities and obligations while ignoring the abuses of powers in our national leaders. History will not be kind. There are some of you up there that don't want to get involved with any of this because it's political. Aside from the lady with the beautiful blue sweater on and Mr. Schroeder, newsflash, you're all politicians. One of you even ran for United States Congress. Everything is political. If you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. Vote immediately to disband ICE. Be it resolved that the citizens of the city of Warren demand that ICE be totally dismantled. If it is deemed necessary in the future, it can be reorganized and refunded. In the future, ICE agents are to swear allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and not some loyalty oath to any one entity or person, regardless of their title, position, or their political party. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. In 1968, the watershed of modern American history, it would be best interest of the people, the city of Warren, and the city council that's supposed to represent them to dismantle and defund ICE and not avoid politics. To those of you in power who choose to turn their heads, shirking their responsibilities to the abuses of power by our national leaders, history will not be kind. Defund and vote to dismantle ICE. I'm Carl Martin Henley. I want some answers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Gloria Sanker. And after Ms. Sanker is Mr. Vanderlinden.
At a January 13th council meeting, I heard Mindy Moore say, "It's not working, giving the bid to the lowest bidder." I think we should consider giving the bid to the next highest bidder, because the lowest bidder is not always the best bidder. And I say, whose fault is that? You take the lowest bidder, and whatever he and you agree on in the specs, he is to do. It's not called the sloppiest bidder, it's called the lowest bidder. Mindy and every other council person has the responsibility to call into the city engineer any faults or failures they find on the job, being the lowest or the highest bidder. But what about the inspectors? These are the ones who should be guaranteeing the work, that it gets done correctly according to specs. They are out there watching the job as it is being performed. Don't put it on the taxpayer to say, pay more money because you are not satisfied. Put it on the inspectors. That's their job, and taxpayers are paying them for it. They have specs. Everyone knows what is expected of them. Maybe there has to be more reporting of what is being done in one, a timely manner, and two, according to specifications that implies the job will be satisfactorily done. You have to hold people responsible who are awarded the work, not at the end of the job, but as it progresses. Perhaps the city engineer could get some standards that must be met and can be evaluated from time to time in the contract so that conditions, if they get out of hand, can be corrected. This way, changes can be made in a respectable way for satisfaction or correction. Regarding bidders' sloppy work, the foreman, the inspectors, the city engineer, you all have the authority to see that the job is being completed according to standards. I believe it's in your job description. And council, perhaps not accepting money from these contractors for your campaigns would send a signal to them. One, you will not be distracted by their donations, and two, you are interested in good work and not swayed by any donation they may give. Life is tough, are you? It's the easy way out, to give back to the people and just charge them more money by going with a higher bidder. That's wrong. Take care of it yourself. Make people
You're at time.
responsible
Thank you, Ms.
for their
Sanker.
work. Otherwise, they are the boss.
Ms. Sanker, you're at time.
And not you.
Thank you. Mr. Vanderlinden?
Thank you. Joel Vanderlyn, longtime Warren resident. Seemed like we got in some touchy subjects today. A member of the library crew that shouldn't be part of the library. She's here to promote learning of what's in the books and stuff like that. Instead, she wants to close them down. There was concerns put in today about the streets not being done properly, and then having to wait a long extension before these companies come back and fix them and charge us even more. There was a thing put in about campaign contributions. This was supposed to have been done by the mayor. She missed 2. That's a misdemeanor. And why are we not processing that? Why are we not going after the mayor? Well, in order to go after the mayor, you have to have complaints filed by the Mount Clemens clerk. He only gives warnings, not official forms. And then the Secretary of State, Dana Nessel, who's a warm, close personal friend and fellow Democrat, she's going to protect her own. The people that are supposed to be doing the jobs and protecting us aren't doing their own. And for the gentleman that was just yelling and screaming about ICE, ICE is necessary now because the Democratic presidents we had, Clinton and Obama, opened up the borders for everyone to come here. And because of their failure, ICE is now necessary. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. That is the end of audience. Next item.
Next is council response to audience. Madam Chair?
Ms. Moore.
I would just indicate to Mr. Watts or anyone else that if you find a commission member or anyone that is not allowed to be in default to the city, if you contact council office, we will check it out and put it on the agenda to send that over to Ms. Buffa, the clerk, and she will contact the person and notify them of the 30 days they have to rectify the situation. Sometimes people aren't aware that they're behind. I think somebody one time had a interest rate on a water bill or something. They didn't even know they had it. So we'll try to take care of those if they come up. And welcome back, Ms. Smiley. She's not listening. Thank you.
Any other responses?
Madam President,
Mr. Noonan?
I should have done this under announcements. I just wanted to announce that I did attend the Stevens Road Greenway Visioning stakeholder meeting today. And it's an interesting thing, the Stevens Road Greenway project. Anyone living near Stevens Road would probably want to go to some of the meetings that are coming up. There'll be a schedule that'll be transmitted. It involves Centerline, Warren, let's see, East Point, and St. Clair Shores. And the study is being financed by SEMCOG. There was a $40,000 grant, and it was a really good meeting. A lot of people showed up, including people from some of our administrative departments, economic development and planning. And I think it's going to help to revitalize another aspect of the southern parts of our beautiful city. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other responses? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Next item.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Dwyer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.